Hey besties, welcome back to the Cozy Corner. It's your girl Jen, and if you're new here, welcome. Just a regular old college girlie at Kelsey Dominguez. But if you're not new here, welcome back to the chaos. This week, I'm going to plan to attempt another possibly failed reading challenge, reading vlog, and then I'm going to make it a challenge to where I'm going to be planning to read 200 pages a day or more. Of course, I'm not going to be super strict on myself, but like 200 is already like a very, very high bar to read physically for me, at least, considering 2 hours of my day are just spent commuting to my job. If you don't know, I work as a medical assistant at UCLA, but I work as a float because it's the only part-time position that I have available at UCLA while I'm still currently in school. And what a float does is I basically go to different clinics whose people call out for the day, be it maternity leave, FMLA, they're sick, etc., etc. And I basically just help out for the day, and then that's like my shift and my assignment. But again, most of my time during those 2 hours of the day is just spent commuting, and so because a lot of these books that I have on here are not available on audio, or at least they're not on sale because for some reason they're not available. Well, they're like too many weeks out for Libby. They're not available at all for Everand for some reason, and then Audible, it's just like not on sale. And so I was able to get Binding 13 and Keeping 13 Part 1 on sale for a very, very low price of like $3 and $5. So I have that in my pocket, but like the rest of these guys, I'm going back to my roots of reading physical. And usually I'm like hybriding where it's like I'm reading via audio for work while I'm commuting, and then I'm like reading physical or Kindle during my free time, right? And so my goal this week is to read 200 pages a day. Today is Friday. I'm planning to read pages 263. I'm on chapter 29 of Binding 13, and that's like 263 in the book. So I'm gonna be reading on Kindle, and then I'll have the physical book for emotional support, as one does, right? I'll be reading 263 to 463. That's 200 pages for today. On Saturday, tomorrow, I'll be reading pages 463 and finishing it up with 611 pages of Binding 13, and then I'll go back into Keeping 13. I'll go into Keeping 13. She's a bit of a chunker, I ain't gonna lie. But I'll be starting this book with pages one to 200 on Sunday. On Monday, I'll go from pages 200 to 400, and then Tuesday, 400 to 659, and that'll wrap up Keeping 13. And then on Wednesday of next week, I'll be reading Saving Six. This is Joey and Aoife's story. Joey is Shannon's brother. Aoife is his girlfriend, and I already know this entire series is going to have me just hugged. But Wednesday, 76 pages to 0 to 200, and then Thursday of next week, 200 to 400, and then I'll wrap this up with 400 to 497 on Friday, but then I'll also start the first 100 pages of Redeeming Six. I know that was a bit of a yap sesh, right? If you have not heard of the Boys of Tommen series, you have been living under a rock. So this will indeed be a very spoiler plot synopsis. And if you don't want that, go ahead and listen to Mariana Reads, Lit by Lauren, Larry Reads, maybe Anna. Not really sure if she's read the series yet, but I'm just not really the person to give you a spoiler-free. I'll do my best, but like I'm not really one to give you a spoiler-free plot synopsis of my thoughts on this book. But if you don't know what Binding 13 is about, I didn't either until I started it. All I knew was like it was some sort of sports romance. So the numbers on each of these books represent the numbers on the jerseys of the male leads that the relationships follow in each book. So Binding 13 follows Johnny Kavanagh and Shannon Lynch. Shannon had to move to this new school, the Tommen College, in order to escape her like previous school. She's had to move multiple times, but like this is like the last straw because she's gone through a lot of bullying in her life. She's always like the center of negative attention, and her mom is like, you know what, screw it, we're gonna give you a good school, we're gonna send you to this private school so that you can be done with this. They have had a very, like, I've already talked to the dean. They've had a very good experience with not bullying, and this, like, they take it very seriously. So like you should theoretically have a good first day, right? Well, her first day she ends up getting like knocked upside the head, given a concussion by a ball, a very heavy soccer ball, and guess who threw it or kicked it by accident? Johnny Kavanagh. And so they end up having this like I'm so sorry like meet cute where he ends up like hurting her by accident. He ends up taking her to the nurse, takes care of her until her mother gets hurt there. Her mother, of course, is very mama bear, very protective of her, and the story just goes from there where they have to like navigate like being together, not only being together, but like going to the same school. They become good friends. I'm at the part where they're like, I guess, gonna go watch a movie, but she's a bit concerned about her father. Well, okay, let me just step back for a minute. Shannon's home life is not really safe. She ends up considering specific days of the week to be safe days or not safe days, where the non-safe days are spent mostly trying to just get to her room and close and lock the door as quickly as possible because her father is very abusive and her mother is very much mentally checked out and kind of like tries to placate her father in whatever way possible. And then like the rest of the kids who are currently growing up, I think Shannon has like 3 other brothers. I think she had like a 4th one, but he left when he like basically graduated college and became an adult. And so now it's just like Johnny, Shannon, and her younger siblings. I'm sorry, Joey Shannon and her younger siblings. Joey plays this like protective role of keeping Shannon safe from her father, from their father. He's not afraid to get aggressive with her father because like somebody needs to put him on off of his high horse and get him back down to earth because he's constantly drunk and just a very like abusive drunk. And so because of these like non-safe days and safe days, Shannon like never can really go out because whenever she comes home late or she's not supposed to go out and she comes home, she ends up having a altercation with her father. That's where I'm at now. I'm gonna go record. I'm gonna go edit some videos, and then when I'm done with that, it'll probably be like around 5 or 6, and then I'll like spend 6 to 10 p.m. roughly, just like listening to the audiobook and reading. I'll be doing an immersive read until part 1 is over, and then I'll just like read the rest. But we will see how successful this vlog is, and I'll give you my thoughts when I have them. Okay, besties, it's actually Sunday, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but this reading vlog is totally failed. So instead, we're gonna kind of do like a mini week in my life / hey, I'm reading the Binding 13 series, the Boys of Tommen series, and just give you my thoughts on them about them. I am indeed keeping on track as far as the 200 pages a day. But the thing is, though, your girly caved, and now I have the audiobooks for basically all the books. So of course now I am speed reading. And so I have finished Binding 13. I'm currently like almost halfway through Keeping 13, and I am not having a good time. If you don't know, if you have not read the Boys of Tommen series, I kind of tried to keep out of the loop for the most part, just because I didn't want to spoil too much from it for myself. I wanted to go in completely blind, but essentially, full spoiler log. If you have not like read the Binding Keeping 13 series, go ahead and just read somebody else's vlog. But for me, or listen to somebody else's vlog. For me, I'm going to be giving you guys the full details. So the reason that there's numbers on the books titles is because of the numbers on the characters' jerseys. So 13 is Johnny Kavanaugh, and we're following Johnny and Shannon's story. Johnny is some guy from a very rich household. He's gonna have like these dreams of becoming like a rugby player at like the international field or whatever. He's currently in high school still, but he has these big dreams of becoming like a really famous rugby player. And meanwhile, we have Shannon, who is coming from a school where she was like viscerally bullied. She's going to this new private school in hopes of a better like school life, I guess, and she ends up on her first day, she ends up having a concussion caused by this rugby player's ball getting kicked to her face accidentally, not her face, by the back of her head, actually, which is even worse. But it was accidentally, and now they have this whole like relationship going, and Shannon's home life is like really fucked up because she's like being like abused by her father, and like every time he comes home drunk, he ends up beating her, and her brother ends up stepping in, and it's just. Oh, it's horrible. He ends up calling her all these horrible names because he's just a freaking douchebag. He calls her like a whore, a cunt, and all these things. And every time that she tries to get a little bit closer to Johnny, she ends up having to pull back just because of the bullying and horrific things that happen to her when she's home. She almost dies, by the way. Oops. Sorry. At the end of Binding 13, she almost fucking dies. And that like really threw me for a loop because I'm like, no, my girl, no, this is not happy happening. I just went through this entire book with you and you're going through this and now you're about to. The mom? Oh my god, the mom? Yeah, let's fucking talk about the mom. I want to just wring her by the fucking neck, as I'm sure, like Chloe Walsh is writing, she really gets you to care about these specific characters. And so when they do something that's like, dude, you're really fucking up right now, like, you're able to really call it out because it's really fucking horrible. Her mom has gone through her entire life raising these kids for her husband to fucking beat on them and just abuse them and treat them like fucking shit, and she does nothing. She sits back and does nothing. So meanwhile, all of these things are happening to poor Shannon. She's already lost one kid, by the way. He decided to dip out, as he should, because he should prioritize his health and safety. And then Shannon. And then Johnny. Oh my god. I'm having a good time. I'm not having a good time at all, actually. I'm currently in the midst of keeping 13. Everything is kind of, but not really at all, settled between the, like, what happened before and binding 13 at the very end. The thing is, though, like, the father ended up leaving that night, thank God, but, like, he fucking came back. Or, like, there's a very, very high chance of him coming back because he set himself in. He's very smart. This bastard set himself into, like, a facility for rehabilitation. And so right now they're dealing with, like, all of these fucking legal shit. And all I want to do is tell Shannon to tell her boyfriend to get his father, a lawyer, like one of the best lawyers in the country, to, like, do lawyer stuff for her family and, like, take them to court to help, like, back up the family. And I'm just I'm having a good time. I'm not having a good time. I'm not going to freak out too much more. The reason right now we're set up like this is my bookshelves came in. I know we have more bookshelves, but they're floating bookshelves. So they're going to go, like, right here and then again right here. I'm really hoping that we have enough space because it was 55 inches. This screen right here is like a 50-inch TV. And I'm, like, pretty sure there's, like, 55, or I'm sorry, 5 inches of space between it. But if anything, I'll just, like, push the bookshelves over slightly. So you're going to kind of see, like, a montage of me just, like, doing stuff here. And you'll see, like, YouTube and such things going on in the background. But I figure I just wanted to do, like, a little recap with you guys before I did that. Binding 13, I already knew in advance that it was going to be taking me through the ringer. I just wasn't really prepared for this much. So I'm expecting a lot of tears in the future. I am really liking this book so far. I have rated Binding 13 already a 5-star. Like, this is going to be life-changing for me. Just because I've gone through a lot of what Shannon has gone through. Not as for nearly as long. Also, my camera is possibly going to shake because my little guy over here is very curious, but I've gone through exactly what Shannon is going through. I, like, a lot of the scenes that have happened with Shannon have happened. Like, I saw myself, like, having those things happen to me when I was younger. Enough, like, exposing myself for now. I'm going to just handle this bookshelf building situation. I'm hoping, well, not really. My neighbor's kind of mad at me right now. We don't get along, and I already sent her a text message in advance, as well as, like, the whole household, and just to, like, cover my butt. And I also got permission from my landlord that, like, it was fine to drill holes in the wall. I've also never used a drill before, so that's gonna be a fucking trip. But I'm hoping that I don't piss her off too much, but I already know that I'm gonna piss her off a little bit. I think there's, like, 8 holes that I need to drill into this wall. 2, 4, yeah, 8. So we'll just see how long this takes me. But yeah, enjoy the montage of shenanigans. Sorry, quick thing. I'm going back to my roots as, like, a 13-year-old preteen. The Angel with the Shotgun and, like, the entire Nightcore universe was really fucking huge back then. Comment down below if you were alive and, like, present for that era, because, guys, I needed to come back, honestly. I forgot that it fucking existed. And then, like, a few weeks ago, I was like, whatever happened to that one song? It was this song. And so now I have gotten into my brain that I'm going to be listening to this and feeling like a badass hoe, a badass bitch, a badassery girly, while I'm, like, creating these bookshelves. So just watch me, like, creep the fuck out of the audience and nerd out real quick. Okay, besties, the first one is up, and I won't lie, it's a little bit late for me, so I'm going to be going to bed and finish the second half tomorrow. But this was way too hard. It was way harder than it needed to be. Oh my gosh. Okay, I promised my landlord it would only be, like, 8 holes. yeah, it's double that. And I still have like more to go because I was thinking like 2, 4, 6, and 8, but like there's still 1, 2, 3 times 2 is 6, so that's like 8 plus 6 is 14, and then I ended up doubling the first one, so I already have like 16 holes on this side. We're not going to talk about it by the time I move out a few years from now, because I'm planning to stay here for a few years at least, because of college and whatever, for university, for graduate school. Yes, PA school. I'm planning to stay here during that time, so it shouldn't be too crazy by the time I move out, because I will be planning to get those, like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the stuff that the fill-ins for at Home Depot that you can get for X amount of price, and you just like use it to fill in the holes that you created. I already asked my landlord anyway if I could like make these holes, and he said it was totally fine. But I'm tired, I'm sweaty. It's also hair wash day, so my hair looks horrible, and I have to work tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower and get ready for bed and get on with it tomorrow. I was listening to Nightcore for like a solid hour and a half until I finished this, but I had to take my TV down at some point because the screws over here, like the TV kind of like goes up to here, and then like the screw had to go into here. I also am not like, I have no knowledge or understanding of like how construction and math works. I also don't have like a protractor or a ruler or any of that, or like a balancer or none of that. So your girl was definitely unprepared. You can totally see that in the video, because I'm over here like looking at that, looking there. I had to like stop the recording at one point to get my phone to see if I could like measure some stuff. That was like a horrible decision. And I just kind of winged it at some point, and I just got double the holes. So I will try and do better next time. But I'll save the other shelf for tomorrow. Like I said, I have a feeling that because of how this is set up, where it's like I wanted to have it set up here like equal to the shelving and equal to there. I ended up being like an inch or two taller than that. What are you doing, dude? I have a feeling that the same will happen to my next shelf. As long as I'm like able to reach the books there, it should be fine. But my cat's going crazy. He's like, why are we past our bedtime? I'm gonna just go ahead and cut it here for tonight. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll probably end up finishing keeping 13 by tomorrow night, perhaps, maybe, and then I'll give you my thoughts on that there. But this is kind of just like a little funny, like, guess what I did this week, because it's like a casual Week in Jen's life type of video. But I'm gonna stop yapping, go shower, get ready for bed. I'm so tired, and I will get started with the video for tomorrow or something like that. I don't know, I'm tired. Bye, guys. Besties, good morning. It's actually currently 2:38 in the morning, and I woke up with thoughts. Well, okay, I didn't wake up with thoughts, but I woke up, had to use the restroom, couldn't go back to sleep, and then I started having more thoughts on Johnny and Shannon, because right now they're just surrounding my life. I also have a small child in the background, also known as Echo, who may be assisting with this video message. I just can't sleep, but what I was trying to say earlier about Johnny, like, he's seeing all of these things happen to this girl, and he comes from a very well-off family, and he's never had to deal with anything like this before. And so when he sees her come to school, like, and he knows that she's been bullied from her other school, she's thinking like, he's thinking like, who's hurting her, who's like bullying her, somebody hurting her, and he keeps trying to ask her like what's going on, and she doesn't answer because she's been taught her entire life to lie, to keep like basically CPS off of their parents and everything. And he's just like, he just wants to help. And he's like, after he almost lost her to her deadbeat dad, at the end of the book, he was so devastated because he was also going through his own thing. Like, he was in the hospital maybe a few days prior to her, and then when he found out that she was in the hospital, he just lost it. Like, he's still recovering, but he's like literally limping with like a broken leg, basically. Well, not really, but like you can figure out like what's actually going on down there with him in the book. But like, he's literally limping over to her, trying to do whatever he can to be with her, and his friend, her freaking family, is like trying to keep them separated. It's so bad, guys. It's so bad. I literally need a Johnny in my life. Like, this is not okay. I've dealt like with a lot of stuff, and so to see Shannon going through like, well,
I went through a fraction of what Shannon went through, but still, to see Shannon going through the same things, and this little guy is literally on my face right now because he wants attention. It's books are very healing, you guys. They help you process trauma, and I really appreciate Chloe Walsh for writing something like this. I'm gonna try and go back to bed now, but those are my thoughts at 2:38 a.m. Okay, bye. You guys, the audio quality on this is gonna be so bad, but you don't understand. I'm at work right now, and I was reading because it's slow, and it's fine. And I'm literally fucking sobbing because, well, not literally, I actually had to take a minute to calm down because Shannon just ran into her dad at the movie theaters in the parking lot with some girl giving him head. Crazy. And Johnny just goes over there and beats the ever-living shit out of him in defense of Shannon because of everything that she's going through, because she's so scared that her dad is gonna come back and beat her. Yeah, I'm not okay right now. I'm not okay. I'm not doing well. I'm on chapter 53. The chapter name is You Don't Steal Kids, Lad. And honestly, I'm loving every single bit of this. Like, Johnny's mom, Johnny's dad, they're fucking hilarious. It's so good. It's so good, you don't understand. You guys, I'm having a breakdown at work. I'm fucking crying over this shit. I'm at the 72% mark of keeping 13, and I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Like, her entire family is about to get adopted or fostered by freaking Joey's mom and dad. Like, where the fuck was that when I needed it? Like, actually, no, it's okay, because I'm okay. And they deserve every fucking bit of it. They deserve to have the wonderful life that they need. And Joey and his mom and his dad are just like the best freaking people ever.
Okay, besties, I did my best. It is officially finished. I kind of wanted to spend like the first half of the second one just to myself, just to like try and figure some stuff out. But honestly, I don't think it really worked because girl is crooked. See, I said to my friends that these girlies were going to be cousins, not sisters, not even siblings. But like this, yeah, no, she's very distantly related. She's giving 15-degree angle when you're putting the bevel in to draw blood. If you know, you know. I did my best. I'm gonna just put books up here. It's like way too high for me. You saw me on the step stool, like fearing for my life. I don't know what it is about me being a bigger person, literally. Like, whenever I have to get on a step stool to like reach the top shelf, if you will, I get so freaked out because I'm so terrified that the step stool that I'm standing on is going to break and I'm just going to be crying, especially because this is not my step stool. So with that being said, I finished her. I'm going to put some books from basically like that entire first, probably the entire thing, to be honest. I'm not going to go that bold, but like at least a good half of the shelf is going to go up here because of the lack of, okay, let me tell you, right? This girl right here, Miss Girl right here, she's super glued. She is super glued to this part because for some reason, this wall like slightly tilts towards the right, and I wasn't able to fix it, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it. This one I was able to fix, no super glue was needed, but like this one 100% would definitely need, like, the wall's like just too tilted that way, if that makes any sense. Like, it kind of goes like curved towards the other room, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does, but regardless, I super glued it. So because of the lack of stability from that last screw, and there's more, don't get me wrong, there's more. The top two screws here that are kind of like giving extra stability to the wall, are like providing upper support, if you will, to the shelf. It's the screw isn't like attached to anything besides the wall, if that makes sense. Like, there's no like there needed to be at least another inch of wall for the screw. Like, basically the screw went through the wall and there's nothing like attached to it on the other side, if that makes sense. Like, if this is the wall and this is the screw is like right way out here, guys. Anyway, so because of the lack of stability on that side, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do my best to make sure that this whole shelf up here isn't as heavy as the one down here. I'm definitely gonna make sure that these shelves aren't super packed anyway, just because I know that they're floating shelves, and like I have a whole flat screen right here that's ready to just be toppled over and shattered along with my dreams. But with that being out of the way, I do want to go ahead and talk about where I'm at with keeping 13. This book right here has been having me by the throat in a chokehold all day. Again, this entire reading vlog thing is like a spoiler reading vlog. So if you have not read the series, go listen to somebody else's vlog. This is like mine, and mine's going to be totally spoiler. So I'm at the part where Johnny went to go save Shannon from basically being murdered because her father decided to come back and like light her house on fire. And I saw this shit coming from a mile away, but I totally understand why these kids didn't see it coming until it was, because like let me just set up the scene for you, right? Shannon like sees her. She's going after her sibling because he ran away from some situation, and then she's like chasing after him. But out of the shadows, like some fucking snake, her dad comes back and he's like, "Hey, Shannon, come on in the house, let's go." And she's like, "You're not supposed to be here. We have a whole like." Basically, like a restraining order against you. Like, you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, just go upstairs, go to bed. I'll be right with you in a bit. He goes downstairs and then he checks up on her and he's like, "Are you sleeping?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, 100%." Like she's fucking shaking. She's terrified. And she has like her dresser like in front of the door for extra barricade. And she hears him like pouring some sort of liquid like on the floor. And at that moment I knew, I'm like, this is either gasoline or some sort of flammable liquid. And pretty much after, like, there was a certain scene where Johnny is in and is like currently saving her siblings, her male siblings, and he's going down the stairs and he's like in thinking to himself like, why is there so much water? There's so much liquid and I'm slipping on it. And then he ends up going down the stairs and like looks over to the kitchen where the father and her mom are like talking, and he sees like bottles and bottles of like highly flammable ethanol, so like vodka, freaking high ABV, whiskey, all these things. And like basically her father came back to share a last drink with her mom and then light the whole freaking house on fire with the children inside. How fucking diabolical. I was having a hard time on the way home. I'm not gonna lie. I was crying. I was like being like, no, this can't be happening. I'm like hearing all like through the audiobook, I'm like hearing these kids find out like what happened, and I'm like, no, my babies, no, my poor babies, this can't be happening to y'all. I'm not having a good time. I'm not sure if you haven't like, if you can't tell by my casual at work, this is what I'm reading right now on my break, but like it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm probably going to finish this tomorrow on the way to school, but I'm going to just finish this up right now. You're going to see like a small montage of me like putting books on the shelf, probably. Don't hold me to it. And then I'm going to call it quits for the day, but it's a new day. It's Sunday. I'm sorry. No, it's Monday actually. And I'm almost done. So I'm definitely ahead of schedule by at least a day. And because of the audiobook shenanigans, I am planning to have this done possibly by next Friday, like the entire series. We shall see. That is like a tall order for myself, but this might end up being like I read the Boys of Tommen series in 1 week and these are my thoughts about it. This originally was going to be like, oh, I'm going to read 200 pages a day challenge, and then that totally failed, and I was like, well, I'm kind of behind, but actually just kidding, because now I have the audiobooks because you're okay. So now I'm like totally halfway through the book, halfway through the two books, right, because it's like a combined combo essentially, and now I'm like almost done. I don't even have bookmarks because I haven't had the book with me, but I think the last time that I had checked was always, which was on my way home, I was at like page 450. I want to add like at least 50 to 70 pages on it, so I might be close to page 500. But on the audiobook I only have like 2.5 hours left, so it's gonna get so real. I really hope that Johnny and Shannon have their own happily ever after, because I can't do this. I can't go through this. Like, this is, you don't understand. For those of you who have gone through similar things, you probably do understand, but I've had a really fucked up childhood, and like this is really bringing back memories. And I'm not okay. Like, I already knew going in that I had to have my mental health in check, and like I thought I had it. No, these PTSD moments that are happening in this book, I'm like, fuck. No, I was there. I had those situations happen to me as well in some form or sort. But anyways, I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'm just gonna go to bed and like cry, I guess. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, besties, it is Tuesday and I just got back from the gym. Yes, I'm skipping school today, but I was really tired this morning, so I figured to prioritize my sleep health and sleep in a little bit, and then also think of it as a good idea to just kind of study from home, because sometimes I feel like if I have the opportunity to study from home, I'll be able to study at my own pace rather than the professor maybe going too fast, or I'm just not understanding the material, or I zone out and just go on my phone. Like, I feel like being here at home, I have the entire day to study, and my plan right now is to go from everything that we've gone over, because finals is coming up next week, which is crazy to think about. So I'm gonna do like a full on study session today. I'm currently at the part, I'm like an hour and a half left of the audiobook of Keeping 13. I'm currently at the part where everybody is camping, like all the besties and friends are camping for Joey's birthday, and I will say I'm starting to see why people don't like Lizzie, but Lizzie does have her what do you call it? Like not her redemption, but like her explanation story. And I want to say it's called Releasing 10. I'll have it up here if it's wrong, but if it's not, I'll just keep it there. Where like we go into her story and it's kind of goes into more like why she acts certain ways, why she freaks out, why she like reacts to certain things and certain triggers. We did have a run in with like her pushing Gipsy into the pond, but she didn't know that he has a history of like a fear of water. She was just being like a bitch, if you want to say that. But she felt really bad about it. She had a panic attack over it, and Feely is a character that we don't really see much, but we're starting to see more of. He and her took a walk, and now we're all like besties. It's the end of the day. We're having like a little nice like by the campfire type of situation where we're just like exchanging stories, drinking, all the stuff, and I am really having a good time. I will say, Joey and Shannon's relationship this entire book is it's so wholesome. It's not wholesome, but it is. But it's like it's so heart feeling like it's very nostalgic, if that makes sense. My heart has just been going all of the places, and Shannon as a character is just such a, like, I want to protect her. I want to keep her safe. And Johnny is that like character for me. And it's crazy to think how all of these stories that I read, none of these characters are real. Like they all like literally exist in my head. And not to sound like a schizophrenic psych patient, but also like I really wish sometimes that I could exist in certain worlds. And I feel like that's why reading for women specifically have such a like good relationship with books when they delve into reading, because it really just holds a special place in our hearts whenever we're dealing with like trauma or just wanting to escape reality for a little while. Like books will always be there for us, and I really like it. Really just like stands in or sets in stone the like the idea that I have that like I want to have my entire like future house be made into a library and just be surrounded by books, like because I feel like all of these books are like keeping me safe. And not to sound like a psych patient, but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and study and stop yapping for a little bit, and then you'll just see like a little montage of me studying. This honestly, this vlog has really just become more of like a week in my life as a busy college girl and that works most of the time, and then tries to get reading in as she can. So it's crazy because like at the beginning of this vlog, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a reading vlog of Binding 13, and I'm gonna like read 200 pages a day and all this stuff. And like now it's becoming just like, hey, I'm reading this book, but also you guys are following along with me in my life, and now we're just here as a vlog. So I'm gonna stop yapping, get started on studying, and that'll probably be it for today, unless I finish the book, which I probably will by tonight. But when I finish the book, I will give you my thoughts on like wrapping it up, and then I'll start saving 6. And I'm kind of scared because that's going to be Joey and Eva's story. And I'm not ready for it because Joey's going through a hard time right now, and I see why. I see why he goes through these things, and I see Aoife having a really hard time dealing with Joey going through these things. And I'm just gonna stop yapping for a bit and start studying because it's already almost it's already almost noon. So yeah, I'm gonna go be a responsible adult. Deuces. Hey besties, it is indeed Wednesday, so I do have some thoughts. I have officially completed or finished, whatever term you want to use, Keeping and Binding 13. I can't lie, I really want to see more of what happens to Johnny and Shannon when he like goes off to his like his rugby career. Like it really takes off right now. He's currently taking a break. He's going to finish his last year at Tommen, and then he's going to go off to the big leagues, if you want to call it like that. And I really want to see the growth between Johnny and Shannon when they do long distance, because that is going to be, as a girly who has done that myself, not to like continue like what do you call it, pushing my life onto them, or like what is it called, like when you maybe if I think about it, I'll have it up here somewhere. But it's like when you project. There we go. When you project your life onto them. But I just see a lot of stuff in Shannon and Johnny's relationship that I personally have dealt with in the past. I'm currently like 10 to 20 pages into Joey and Aoife's story, and I'm not ready for this one, you guys. I have an aunt who has dealt with drug use and relapses, and she's currently sober. She's been sober for a few years. She just had a daughter, and I'm really, really hoping that she has the best life. But when she was going through that, like I just had to watch my grandmother have like complications when it came to like to being with her daughter. Me personally, I have a personal situation with my own mom. And I'm not going to talk about it because that's like a really, really, really touchy subject for me. But there was possible drug use there as well, based on specific situations. But um, without with that all being said, I'm currently at the point where Joey is using in order to escape what he's currently going through with his mother, and we're kind of taking a step back a few years. I want to say at least no, I think 6 years, because Darren leaves like 6 years after or Darren has left 6 years after Binding and Keeping 13 start. And I think that's like where we're at, because like Joey is just starting college, I'm sorry, high school, um, and his brother just left, and all of these things. You kind of also delve deep into where Joey is of a like mind of like a little bit older child. He's like 12, 13 at this point, and he's starting to see like what it means when certain things happen to his mom because of his dad, and he has like words for those scenes now. Whereas in Binding and King 13, Shannon kind of just like child Shannon, when it was being shown, kind of just like was like, why is mom like, why is her shirt off, why is her bra off, why is her panties off, and why is she crying, why is she sobbing, why is dad fighting, whatever. And as an adult brain, you know what is happening to that person, but as a kid, like, you have no idea what's going on, but you're seeing it from a lens of a 12-year-old boy who has learned about it from school, who has learned about it from other people, and who was seeing it in real life. And he's at a point where it's like he's trying to help his mom, he's trying to do whatever he can to help better the situation, but because he's so young and he's so small in every sort of way, he can't do anything. And like the middle of Binding and Keeping 13, you see all of these fights happening, you see Joey stepping in and standing up, getting his father off of his mom and off of his siblings, and like diffusing the situation via violence, physical violence, to protect his siblings, his mother. But like at the very end, you see Joey like give up and just walk out, and he's like, I can't do this anymore, you're on your own, you're never gonna change, you're always gonna be in love with him, you'll always be taking him back. You see that from a childhood lens, and I'm guessing that Joey's relationship with his family, relationship with getting to know and falling in love with and being with Eva until like the end, which I'm estimating that like either the halfway point or the end is going to be when the fire happens. Which, by the way, I don't think my like study session yesterday, I recorded a video, I recorded a video before I did the study session. I don't think it went through, but basically when I was doing Keeping 13, like I think we're in the halfway the point of the book. Basically Shannon's father came home super like wasted, drunk, and told like Shannon to go up to her room. She was outside on the porch, and she screams this visceral scream of like, mom, help me. And she runs back into the house, and the father is like, good girl, go up to bed, everything will be fine. And he goes up, basically he's gonna set the house on fire with everybody in it. And luckily Johnny was able to get everybody out, but it was a very, very heartbreaking scene because whew, okay. As somebody with like mommy issues, Johnny had to see Shannon's mom tell him to take her children and run. Oh my god. I'm not gonna cry. I'm crying because I have my own personal issues, and that just really touched me in a really torturous way. Oh my god, Jen, edit this out. Let's just say I was crying in the club when I was going home. Everybody was fine except for her parents. They passed away in the fire, and Shannon's mom was able to give Johnny his blessing to like get her kids and run and save them. And this is what I mean by like books are so healing, because I really wish my mom did. Enough trauma dumping. Moving on. Get it together, Jen. You did not cry on camera. Oh my god, what the hell? I'm not like laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because like I look fucking ridiculous, and that's like my way of coping. But I have a feeling that Saving Six is gonna follow at least half, or if not the whole book, before fire happens. And then after that point, you'll get to see the redemption arc, which would be Joey going to rehab. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Joey, who I think also transferred to Tommen. I'm not really sure. I'm really looking forward to seeing the relationship while Joey's at Tommen and is able to like grow out of his shell. I'm guessing that's the number 6 is going to be his jersey when he decides inevitably to, of course, play rugby on the team he's in. He's going to have so many friends. He's going to be able to cope and heal and just be a kid that he always ever was and he always ever should have been. But it's been a rough few days. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely still at least a day ahead of schedule. If you can't tell behind me, I'm watching the Vampire Diaries. I'm currently watching Rose die from a werewolf bite. We are on season 2, episode 12. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but I, like every other girly, find the Vampire Diaries to be very nostalgic. I want to just like take a quick pause in the books, talk about some personal stuff going on in my life. There is no update on the robber. There's also like the prints are being ran. I'm not sure how long it takes for the police to run prints. I'm not sure if there's like a queue line or something like that, but I haven't heard back from my detective that's on my case. And then some educational stuff. I will be finishing Physics 2 next week. Did not quite do good on my physics midterm, but at least I made the average, which was like at 63%. I'll take it. I'll honestly take it. It's whatever I can get. And hey, I made the average. I made the average of the class. Like there wasn't even a perfect score, and that was fine. And then also, yeah, I have one more week. I have a presentation and a term paper, which I've never done before, just like a regular essay on EKGs, which is funny as hell because today, well, at Clinical Nutrition and Weight Management, the clinic that I tend to work at most of the time, we do a lot of EKGs and what's called a BIA, or a body composition machine, which like kind of like measures the fat to muscle to water ratio, your basic metabolic rate, and then like your total weight and whatever. And then like it's the most accurate that we currently have. It's like super expensive machine. It honestly looks like Elon Musk designed it. It's crazy. But the EKG machine specifically is like what the topic of the midterm paper of the term paper is going to be about. And so I work with them like very frequently. It's like almost as frequently as I draw blood and like do ear lavages and like the whole thing. So it's like I got that shit down to a T, like to a fucking science. And it's crazy because physics uses like electricity and other random shit that I'm gonna like, you know, research later about to continue my essay. But it's really wild. But tying that to the personal note, I personally at the ripe old age of 23 have decided to quit alcohol and caffeine for at least the next 2 or 3 years because I've been currently experiencing palpitations, which I have a family history of heart disease, and that's like really bad because I'm 23. I'm not trying to have a heart attack or a stroke anytime soon because God, I have to go through like 5 or 6 more years of school in order to be successful, and then I can deal with all the other shit, right? I don't even have the money to be dealing with this right now. I need to call tomorrow or I guess I can do it tonight as well. Just like order my medical insurance card. So it was like the one thing that I forgot to do, and I've kind of been putting it off at this point because it's already so much time has passed. I also haven't got my credit or my debit cards, but they might have been mailed to my school, in which that's like a whole other situation. But the bottom line is I did an EKG on myself. It's kind of like on the down low. Treated it as like a little test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Jane Doe type of situation. And I came up with an abnormal EKG reading with atrial fibrillation, which is or atrial arrhythmia or whatever it is called. It's not great. Not currently at risk for a stroke or a heart attack, but it is very concerning and something I'm definitely keeping on my radar. The moment that I'm able to get a medical insurance card, my medical insurance card back in my possession, I'm definitely going to be making a initial appointment with my new GP since I moved up to Woodland Hills. I don't have a GP up here. It's like all the way in Gardena, or at least it was until I moved it up here. It's a whole situation. So it's like I need to essentially establish care with a new provider. And even though my physical annual exam or whatever you want to call it isn't due until November, I still want to like get in the door per se, medical wise, because I need to get a referral to a cardiologist, which is funny as hell also because on a side note, this might be the thing that puts me available and like acceptable or authorized or whatever you want to call it on insurance to cover my Zepbound medication, which would be freaking awesome if I can get back on there because the girl is still struggling with weight issues. I'm really trying now to like make a conscious effort to weigh myself every week, be that like I gained a pound, I lost a pound, and make a conscious effort of like what I eat. The scale has always fluctuated a lot. It's definitely like at the highest it's ever been, but it's like we'll deal with it, but like that's not the most pressing matter. But if I can get on Zepbound, that'll be a nice big factor of helping me lose weight, as well as like dealing with like cardiac issues and other stuff like that. I also need to do a bullet panel and see how my cholesterol is doing and all that stuff, but quick yap session later. I am very much enjoying the Boys of Tommen. This might just be like a vlog until I finish the Boys of Tommen series, and then it'll also be like a weekly vlog of a week in my life, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So that's gonna be basically it for today. It's Wednesday. Hello. Honestly, if I think about it, I have Saving 6, Redeeming 6, Taming 7, and then releasing 10. It's like 4 books. Theoretically, this might turn into a week and a half vlog, but I might just actually finish it and just like do an entire like Boys of Tommen reading vlog. Totally spoiler, by the way, if you have not already caught on by this point. Yeah, I'm gonna have a fun time editing this later. But yeah, that is gonna be all for today. I will give you more thoughts on Saving 6. Probably tomorrow at this point. Just kind of getting ready for school. I'm very much ready to be done. I've been saying that for ages. Okay, besties, it is Monday and I'm not well. I am currently like, I want to say 40-50% of the way through Redeeming 6 and I'm not okay. Oh my god. Okay, so if I'm not really sure even when I like last talked to you guys, I have like really just dreaded like pulling this up to read. I already finished Saving Six a while ago, but Redeeming Six, I'm like, I know it's gonna get so much worse before it gets better, and I'm really scared with how this is gonna go trajectory wise. This guy is gonna be crazy as always, but Joey is in the midst always 94/7 of his battle between addiction and his family and trying to stay good for Aoife, and not just trying to stay good for her but trying to find a way to stay good for him. I'm not okay. Oh my god, this book has made me sick. Oh my god, I was at work today on my break reading the chapter. Stop. Get your shit together. Reading the chapter, it's very, very graphic. If you are sensitive to scenes and depictions of Hesse, skip this book, please. It, especially if it's mixed with drugs and having to deal with somebody or like live in love with somebody that is going through these things while his family is also really fucked up, and then no. I was fuming. I was sick. I felt so nauseated while this poor girl was being assaulted by somebody. And it didn't go too much further, but it was enough to scar somebody for life, especially if they're, this is a huge spoiler, but I can't. If you know, you know. Aoife's going through something very, very, very serious, especially for somebody who was very young. I'm not gonna air my dirty laundry out on here, but let's just say that I know this on a very deep level of how traumatizing it is. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm going through a lot with this book. I didn't really have a whole lot of thoughts on Saving Six, besides it being like a 4 point. I gave it a 5 stars on Goodreads. But I do want to say it was like a 4.75 stars. This one, I don't even know. It's going to be one of those like books where I'm so glad I read it. I'm never reading it again just because of how close to home it's hitting. Aoife and Joey are going through a lot. And by the way, I want to say something real quick. This book doesn't take place after the events of Shannon and Johnny's story. This happens before. So this takes place from like secondary school all the way up. I'm not really sure how Ireland schools work here, but I guess like they have like primary school grades 1 through 6, and then they have secondary school grades 1 through 6. And this is following secondary school grades 1 through 6. And this is where Joey meets Aoife for the very first time. Shannon is a year or so, or a few years younger than Joey. So she's like, we're seeing her being bullied firsthand from when she had to like end up like transferring to Tommen. But it's taking very slow as far as the pacing wise. Like we're going day to day with these guys, and we're really seeing how in this book specifically how Joey and Aoife's like romance and story finally progressed. And then in this book we're following basically like eventually Shannon goes to Tommen, and then like Joey is still like in the throes of going through addiction, and we're gonna be coming up to spring break soon. And if you've read like Binding and Keeping 13, you know what spring break like, entails. You know what happens there, and I'm not ready for it coming from Joey's point of view because I know the guilt and the devastation that Joey's gonna feel after like having Shannon go through that and knowing that he wasn't here because he was out getting high out of his mind, and how he had to come home thinking that his entire family was dead because like the house is on fire, and then like the guilt and devastation that's gonna happen. Like I don't know where this book is gonna end, but I'm hoping it doesn't end like I'm hoping it ends after like well after he goes to rehab and like gets better and is able to go to Tommen himself, because yeah, I'm not doing well, guys. Oh my god, I've been dreading for a reason coming up on here to discuss this book because I'm not okay. I have a very close family member of mine who just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl after a very hard and very risky, and she almost died, pregnancy. And she went through this. She was Joey in the story. And one could say her ex-boyfriend was Aoife, but like from the flip side, right? That's like a whole other story that I'm not going to air out. It's not my business to tell. It's not my dirty laundry. It's not my story. But seeing this from an outsider perspective, seeing my grandmother go through having to deal with her daughter go through this, it really hits close to home. Um, and yeah, this may be one of those books where it's like I'm so happy that I read it. I never want to pick it up again. I need to find the chapter of where I'm at. Because, actually, I think I can do that here. Hold on, wait. I am like roughly this much percent through. I'm on page 289, like around there, where Joey and Aoife. Well, Joey climbs through Aoife's door. I'm sorry, window, and is talking to her, and she's asking him like, because he had a like major slip up when they broke up for a week and took a break. And he came to school high, and she essentially took him back to his place so that he could sober up and sleep. And then he climbed through her window the next morning to be like, hey, I've totally got this under control. No need to worry about it. But the answer that she's looking for, the words that she's looking for is, this was a slip up and I'm never going to do it again. I'm going back to trying, because in her eyes, as long as he's trying, she can manage it. She can deal with it. She can accept it and help him. And because it means that he's trying to be, he's trying to love himself. He's trying to be alive and there for himself. And I'm not okay. I'm going to take a couple of days to finish this, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. But I will say that I do appreciate Chloe Walsh emphasizing, especially because of all the undue, I don't know if that's the right word, but she didn't deserve all the backlash that she had gotten from these stories. This is not YA. This happens to take place in high school. And I know I'm sweating, it's really hot, and I'm very upset, and I'm crying. Don't even talk about it. I know I'm red faced. I also just got back from the gym, and I also got out of the shower. I'm going to stop rambling because it's not about me. Chloe Walsh emphasizes that there are very graphic depictions of violence, essay, sexual activity, and drug abuse, and all of these things. This is like adult content. It's not even a romance. It is a story between two people who try and find peace with loving each other and trying to love themselves. Yeah, I really enjoyed and loved Binding and Keeping 13. This one's going to be really hard for me. I know that Lauren is doing a reread of Saving Six. She might be doing a reread of Redeeming Six. I'm not really sure why or how or whatever, but I know that she knows what I'm going through right now. So, yeah, I'm going to get off and go study for my exams, which I have on Thursday. Really excited. I won't ever have to think about physics ever again. And I can just enjoy my life and get back to reading. But it's been a rough couple of days, not just because of this and that. I'm pointing at the Saving Six book, but because of what I'm going through personally. I'm actually going to start my period soon, which is probably why I'm having a rough couple of days, because that phase before the period ends or starts and you're just like really emotional. That's me right now. But I'm also again going through like a very like extreme circle and cycle of financial issues, dealing with it. We're just going through it and dealing with it and dealing with emotions. But I will be quitting Uber Eats for my own sanity and my own budget. But yeah, finances are really tough as always. But I will give you guys my thoughts probably by the end of this week. It's barely Monday, so maybe like Wednesday I should be able to finish this. And then I'll be on to Taming 7 and releasing 10. I'm also not ready for releasing 10 because I know that if this is going to hurt me, that one is going to fucking destroy me. I'm really hoping that Gypsy and Claire's story with their happy-go-lucky and smiling selves, even though I know that the person who smiles the most is the one with the most pain in their lives. Watch any anime and you will understand that phrase. But yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts when I'm done with this book, and I will move on to the next book. That's all I have to say. I'm not okay. All right, besties, it is Thursday, and I don't know if you can hear what's going on in the background right now, but I'm so excited because I don't really know if like what the angle is, what you can see, and what you can't. But like this, guys, this is Snezhnaya. For those who know what I'm talking about, and for those who have played Genshin Impact any sort of time, you have probably heard of Snezhnaya, the Fatui, the land of cryo. Like literally, this is the last nation in Genshin Impact, in Teyvat, which is like, Earth, their version of Earth, their world. And we're finally here. We're finally in endgame. I can't wait to see what the developers are going to do next, because like literally we already have Celestia. Like we've already gone to Celestia. This is the last nation that we're going to see. We haven't found like the god that imprisoned our sibling yet, but like this is endgame. This is like what we are at here since like literally the beginning of Teyvat. When we first stepped in, we're in Mondstadt. We see La Senora where she like beats up Venti for his gnosis, and we're like, what the heck just happened? And like now we're here. guys, this is what Genshin Impact players have been waiting for. With all of the gacha, with all of the bajillions of dollars that has been spent, this is what we've been waiting for. Again, I don't know how the audio quality is because I do have a lot of like background noise. I have the fan here, 2 fans here, and the TV kind of being a little bit loud, so I'm not really sure how this is going to play out for the audio. I am going to turn this down though because it is a bit loud. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. It is Thursday, and I don't know if I said that already, but it's like almost 6 o'clock, I want to say at this point. I just got back from a little bit of a day. I had my final exam this morning from 10 to 12. Guys, I already had the scores back. I made the average. Your girl made the average. Guess what the average was? The average of the class was 63%. Once again, I have made the class average, and that is a good thing for myself. Even now, I won't lie, a D is not something to write home about. But I still passed the class, and I'm probably passing the class with either a high C or a B. It just really depends on how my lab score is going to reflect that. Plus, the scores on Canvas don't really reflect what the teacher is actually going to like post as far as like their own like. I swear to God, each teacher has like their own algorithm and grading system that doesn't reflect correctly on Canvas. So it's like you never know what you're going to get. But I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm totally fine. I've at least passed physics with a C. I know that, but as far as like the actual score, I won't know that until like the end of. I want to say like mid next week, probably by like the end of this weekend. But book wise, I do want to talk about some things. Oh, sorry, I want to like finish my day up, right? I finally got like my last money card that I have for my scholarship. That'll like drive to Santa Monica real quick to meet up with my scholarship advisor to have my card from there or whatever. And then I went back to Torrance. So this is like from Carson, Long Beach area to to Santa Monica, and then back to Torrance. Probably about 60-ish miles already driven by this point. But I ended up meeting up with my friend at the Del Amo Mall, and we got Luna Grill. If you don't know what Luna Grill is, it's this really awesome, like kind of kava / Chipotle-ish style Mediterranean restaurant. I ended up getting like this sirloin steak. I was feeling a little fancy. I was feeling a little pricey just because of what I've already been through today, and I ended up getting that with like some I think it's Mahatma rice or like jasmine rice. It's a long grain rice. And then I also ended up having some like this like salad. I thought it was chickpea. It was called chickpea salad. Not nary a chickpea in sight. And then I had like these little pita things. Super, super awesome. Got to catch up with my friend for a little bit. We ended up going to visit her house. I ended up seeing my adopted daughter. My niece, I finally got to meet her. She's very antisocial. She's almost as antisocial as this little girl up here. I don't really know if you can see her, but she's hiding behind my little pink plushie. Hello, my girl. Anyways, I came home. I did finish Redeeming 6 this morning. Let's talk about it. I already knew I wasn't going to be well, but again, this is also a full spoiler blog, so if you have not seen this, if you have not read this whole series and don't want to know what I'm talking about, why are you even watching this at this point? But this chunker of a book has taken me through the lows and the mids and the highs that I haven't gone through in a very long time. I kind of stand by what I said at the beginning of this, or like on my last entry, where I was like, this is a book that I will read and appreciate and love, especially for what it is and what it represents. But I probably won't ever read this again, or at least like not in the next 5 to 10 years, just because of my headspace and my mental health and whatever. This goes through a repetitive, but like it's repetitive because it reflects real life, and it kind of needs to be repetitive for this to be reflective of how true it is to certain people. But addiction is not just like oh, I did this, I went on like a 5-day binge and then now I'm like totally fine. Oh, I went on like a 2 or 3 week binge of X substance and like now I'm fine. I just like cold turkeyed it. You can't. There's always going to be that thought in the back of your mind that is craving more, that is craving just a taste, just a touch. And you're always going to have that affliction for the rest of your life for specific people. In this book, we follow Joey and Aoife's relationship that goes through the highs and the lows. Aoife is dealing with the pregnancy and Joey is not there for it at all. He's trying, he says he's sorry. And for me personally, if somebody says to me, I'm sorry, so many times, at a certain point, I'm going to be like, no, you're not. You're literally not sorry, because like, why are you still repeating the same thing over and over again? Like, I would have given up at this point, to be honest. I've done it before. I don't have what Aoife possesses as far as like giving the people another chance, never giving up on him. I would have ditched that boy a long time ago, but because Aoife stayed through the highs, the lows, and everything, she was able to create such a beautiful relationship with Joey. Now, they still have their highs and lows. I will say, like, some of the happier parts of this is always going to be Gipsy. Gipsy's banter, humor, and just way to settle a very like nerve-wracking, intense situation is just like literally everything. That fight scene that we saw in I think it was Keeping 13, where Shannon was bullied to the T. It happened again, and like now Joey confronts Johnny, being like, "Hey, you were supposed to protect her. Like, why didn't you protect her? This happens every freaking time." Blah blah blah. The principal comes out and is like, "Hey, you're not even supposed to be on this campus. Like, why are you here?" And like a fight breaks out, and we see Joey fighting Bella, who is like the main antagonist at Tommen as far as like the bullying goes. We end up seeing Joey fighting Bella's boyfriend at the time, and then we see Aoife going to beat up Bella because, you know, girl girl, boy boy, fight it out, right? But like we didn't see Aoife's point of view. Now we see it, and it's funny as hell because literally Bella plays a role in so many character stories. It's literally beyond insane. She acts as like this high posh, high and mighty bitch, and then she ends up bullying everybody else that she deems beneath them, sleeps with their boyfriends at one point or another, be that on purpose or otherwise. And then like she's just such a nasty person. And then Aoife, seeing like how her past, how Bella played a part in her past, and then going to like beat her up because of like, not even because she's over it, but like she is over like what Bella has done and how she played a part in her life, but she's just like getting her revenge for like basically fucking up her life at one point, and it was really so peak. And also like go Aoife for literally standing by her man every single time, whether it be literally fighting with him, like fighting side by side at like different opponents, or just being there for him physically, emotionally, mentally. It's a level of really like love and respect that we don't see these days. But I will say like one of my favorite scenes of this book was, of course, it had like Gibbsy played a part in it, but Aoife is like mid labor. She's going through the contractions. They're heading to the hospital, and like literally, it's like one of those situations where whatever could go wrong did go wrong. So it's like, sorry, sorry, my brain's like buffered for a second. Aoife's dad has her car. Aoife's mom's car has a flat tire, and so they're like, we need to get this girl to a hospital. So like Joey phones up Gibbsy, and they come up. And then, like, literally, like, Gibbsy's having a panic attack while driving. He's like, I'm gonna throw up. I need to stop driving. I need to pull over. Someone needs to take over. And Joey is like, no, you're already driving. You're gonna get us there right now. And, like, literally, I was just laughing my ass off in my car when I, like, listened to this scene. We're getting to the hospital. Aoife had a really, really difficult pregnancy as far as, like, the delivery part. Similar, okay, I'm gonna take a second to breathe because again, this hits close to home. Like I said in my previous entry here, my aunt recently had a pregnancy, and hers was a difficult pregnancy as far as the delivery part, and we almost lost her, and we almost lost Aoife. And like, I just kind of I wasn't there, so I can't imagine what Joey was going through, imagining that, you know, having the possibility in his mind that Aoife might not make it. And I can just, like, that's the closest that I can get to understanding what my grams went through as her mother, like watching her daughter go through all of these things, hemorrhaging, possibly dying, and possibly not making it, and having that thought in future in the back of her head of this might be possible. And then for her to come out, and for her to come out with like a beautiful baby girl, and for Aoife to come out with a beautiful baby boy, and like this, it's been constantly said like, hey, we don't know what the sex is, but we're pretty sure it's gonna be a boy. I'm pretty sure Joey's the male side of Joey's family has this gene that, like, I'm pretty sure they produce more male sperm than they do female sperm, to be honest, like the XY and XX chromosome. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I really don't understand how the whole reproduction thing works as far as like which sperm makes it female and which sperm makes it male. I know like on a basic level, but how in practice I don't understand. But I'm not even gonna get into that. Like throughout the entire book, we're kind of told like, oh, Aoife's gonna have a boy, Aoife's gonna have a boy, and she's like, well, what if it's a girl? And I'm like, I hope it is. I really hope it's a girl because Joey needs a break. He has so many brothers and he has one sister. He needs a daughter. He definitely needs a daughter. He needs to be a girl dad. But it didn't end up happening. It wasn't in the stars. It wasn't in the plot, to be honest. And when I got to the end of this book, and when I got to see the epilogue with Shannon's POV of like going to see her brother off for school and like hanging out with the son for a little bit and just having that auntie moment, like, go Shannon for everything that she has been through. She deserves, like, every single character in this story deserves happy ending. I'm gonna be jumping into Taming 7 next, and I already know I'm not gonna be okay. I know that the characters who smile the most in any story, in any anime, in any manga, in any movie, in any book, the characters who smile the most and who laugh the most are the ones who are dealing with the most pain and just are able to hide it up with laughter and happiness and joy. And I'm gonna take the rest of the night to finish or work on more of the Archon quest for this for the game for the Snezhnaya update. But I'll start Taming 7 tomorrow. But I already know that it's gonna wreck me. And Gypsy and Claire as characters are just so bubbly. They're like two golden retriever Pomeranians on mix, like on like 10. Like take a like a really hyperactive, aggressive Pomeranian, but instead make that hyperactively joyous and happy and laughing Pomeranian and mix that with the golden retriever. And that's literally Gypsy and Claire. I'm very excited for that story. I'm also very scared, and we're literally so close to being done with this whole series. Like, literally releasing 10 has been a dread for me because of the things that I've mentioned with having to go through Lizzie and Huey's and Katie's story. Like, I actually do fuck with Katie at this point. She has been there for my girl Aoife. She has been there for my girl Shannon, and I already know this is going to be so messy. This is going to be so sad. If there is a scenario and there's a universe where polyamory is a thing, I've read books like that before, right? We had the freaking Ruthless Boys trilogy. We had what was it? Like, oh my gosh, it was the sequel. The one with the girl, the one with Rosie or whatever her name was. It's part of the Zodiac series. It's Darkmoor Penitentiary, that one. If we can have some sort of polyamory where everybody has happily ever after, I would honestly be okay with that at this point, because Lizzie is going to go through a lot in this book. I already know. But I'm going to stop yapping. I'm going to do like a little 20-second montage of like me playing the game. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick and then come back and we'll get started with that. It's just gonna be a really chill night. It's like 6 already. I'll probably go until about maybe 8:30, 10, depends on how I feel. And obviously you're not gonna see the entire time. We'll just see like maybe 30 seconds or 30 minutes in real time of like me playing the game and that being it. But yeah, that is my current thoughts. And I'm gonna go use the restroom before I poop myself, and then I will come back. I know TMI, sorry. Not really. Okay, it's what day is it? It's Tuesday, August 18th, I want to say, and I feel so fucking sick. Oh my god. Okay, the audio quality is going to be horrible for this situation, and I'm holding my phone, so there might be some shakiness in the camera. I just got to work, and I've been listening to Releasing 10. I'll give you my thoughts on Taming 7 later. I did really enjoy it, and I do appreciate that at the end of it, we got some sort of insight on why Lizzie is the way she is, but I can't. I'm literally, I feel so fucking sick. The things that are happening to this fucking girl who literally doesn't understand what's going on, and she has a mental disorder where she can't tell what's real and what's fake. The things that are happening to her, I've never wanted to reach inside of a fucking book, inside of a universe, and literally murder the person who was hurting this child. The horrible fact is that she can't articulate the words in a way that makes sense for adults or people that have a like 16 or like teenage adolescent mindset to tell them what's going on to her, because she's been groomed. She's been fucking groomed this entire fucking time. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. She's been groomed this entire time that the things that are happening to her are medicine to make her better. And this fucker, this bastard, this piece of fucking shit on your shoe is like, oh god, he's doing these fucking horrible things to her every night. And she's being told, I'm not okay. I had to get my shit together before I go to work. She's being told this entire time that it's to make her better, that it's good for her, that it's medicine. Meanwhile, this bastard is R-wording her and S-ing her and fucking molesting her every single night. And the worst part is, she tried to tell her sister that she was the one who let the monsters in. But her sister thought she was lying. She thought she was making that shit up in her head. Meanwhile, her sister's been bringing in this guy, her boyfriend, in the same fucking guy that hurt Gibbsy. He's been bringing him into her house almost every fucking night, and he's been hurting her sister. And she's been trying to tell, I'm fucking shaking, oh my god. She's been trying to fucking tell her that that her sister's the one who brought this guy in, and she doesn't understand. And she thinks it's in her head, so she sent her to a fucking psych ward, where the doctors there aren't listening to her, and they're telling her that this is all this stuff that she's making up in her head. Yeah, no, I'm not okay. The fucked up thing is like, I can't tell anybody because they wouldn't understand, because I'm reading a fucking book, and like, the book is just making me feel so viscerally angry.
This book is not for everyone. I should have, I thought I was mentally prepared, and I'm not. I'll tell you the rest later. I'm not even, like, I still have 10 hours left of the audiobook. I don't know how I'm gonna fucking do this. I'm stopping the audiobook at certain points because I'm like, I can't listen to this a second longer. Yeah. I'm gonna go to work now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Okay, pardon my outburst earlier because I do want to get Taming 7 the attention that it rightfully deserves. Before we go into the trauma and horribleness that is releasing 10. I am currently probably about halfway through releasing 10 right now. I am just after the part where Kiva passes. That's not a spoiler, by the way, although this entire vlog is a spoiler reading vlog. So if you haven't gotten the memo by now, what are you doing? Taming 7 follows our dear Sunshine, Gibbsy, and Claire. I believe I might have talked about this a little bit before this, but if I haven't, these two are childhood besties, and they go through literally their entire lives together. Gibbsy unfortunately lost both his sister and his dad in an accidental drowning. I have thoughts about that, by the way. I will get to that. Actually, I'll just do it right now because otherwise I'm going to forget. I have a feeling that Mark, being the antagonist and evil man that he is, I feel like he pushed his sister overboard, Gibbsy's sister, and ended up killing his dad in the process, and his sister as well. That is my thoughts on this. If you agree with me, put it down in the comments. At the very end of this, well, okay, this is really hard to talk about, to be honest. At the end of this, they're at like maybe a prom, I believe it's a prom, and before they go, Gibbsy left like his wallet and some other stuff up in his bedroom, and so Claire was like, I'll just go grab that right now. She ended up going and saw a note among his things that she was putting in her bag. And this specific note is very important to the story. It's very important to Kiva and her role with everything that happened. Kiva, before she self-exited, left a suicide note. The suicide note wasn't hers, by the way. It was Mark's, which, by the way, I'm so excited for when the second book to Releasing 10 comes out, because Daddy, Jonathan Kavanaugh, oh my god, the lawyer that he is going to be able to cross-compare an analysis, or however the hell these people do these things to get this man justice and to get these children justice, because you can't tell me that suicide note, quote unquote, was literally her writing, when you could have compared it to any other like piece of writing that she has made, including the note that she gave to Gibbsy, which I'll get back to in a second, to compare and be like, that's not her writing, and then have Mark write out the exact same thing. Sure, he might forge it, but like still, you would see like a much more similar writing style with his handwriting than it is with hers. But getting back to the topic at hand, she sees this note. She doesn't think it's important, but she puts it in the bag anyway, just to keep it for safekeeping, just in case. Which I think was also smart, because I'm not quite sure if Mark was still in the loop at this point, because he did leave after a certain point. Like Gibbsy literally threatened him, like, I have all the proof that I need. I will go to the cops if you don't leave. And I think he left before this, but like regardless, the point is to like keep this note safe. At the party later, Claire is using the restroom. She's with Shannon, and I don't really know how this happens, but she accidentally ends up reading Gibbsy's like letter from Kiva, and yeah, I'm not okay, guys. In this letter is all of the truth that these people need about Gibbsy's past, and about, well, what will eventually be Lizzie's past as well. Gibbsy, for his entire life, after his father and his younger sister died, has been brutally essayed and molested and raped by his stepbrother, and the entire time he's got his own trauma that he's dealing with. And I knew this would happen, because like the people who smiled the most cry and have the worst possible fucking thing to deal with that they've gone through. I can't even fucking speak right now. It accidentally comes out later when Claire and Lizzie are having a fight at the prom, and Lizzie is being Lizzie. She's like tormenting him. She's calling him names. She's just abusing him verbally and emotionally. And Claire's had enough. She's like, she comes out with it that Kiva wasn't the one who was being raped. It was Gibbsy. And
Lizzie is like, no, this isn't true. She ends up having a mental fucking breakdown. And I'm not okay. Oh my God. Gibbsy is so devastated. He's like, how did you know that was not your letter to read? And how fucking dare you tell our friends about it? Oh my God. I thought I was mentally prepared enough for this story, for this series. But fuck me in the ass with no lube. I am not. Oh my God. Um, they're able to make up and mend and work on their relationship. They've chosen each other. But at the very end, like Claire, I believe this is her point of view. Um, she says that lines have been drawn and sides have been chosen. And of course, Huey's with Lizzie because he's been there for the entire time. But of course, Claire and Johnny are of course on Gibbsy's side. And having to go through releasing 10 and all of it coming up and all of it coming out and seeing it from Lizzie's fractured point of view is so fucked up. So, of course, 5 stars. But let's talk about what's got my emotions all twisted and just fucked up today. We have releasing 10. I didn't really articulate a whole lot, I don't think, in my 3-minute clip that I made earlier. I just needed to get this out because literally last night I was trying to tell my friend over voice text about what was happening. I had like a solid 4 minutes of footage. Mind you, this was like way before I am where I am now. Like I said, I'm not really quite sure where specifically. I am roughly around the 400 page mark out of the 745 pages of this book. So I definitely wasn't where I was before. When I was doing the 3-minute clip, I was like 200 pages before where I am now. We're following Lizzie from childhood. She didn't speak until she was 3. And when she did speak, she was like, wait, you guys can hear me? Because she just, for some reason, could not get the words out. At this, and mind you, there was like a very traumatic thing that happened to her in her past that we don't even find out until like a few pages ago, essentially where I'm at now and around the 400 page mark. Kiva, her sister, meets this guy named Mark. Mark, as I mentioned before, is Gibbsy's stepbrother. And Kiva and Mark end up getting together. Mark having access to Lizzie was the worst fucking thing possible that could have happened. He spent every single day of her childhood up until she was 12 brutally raping her and essaying her. I might have to censor this out later because I don't want to get my channel taken down by YouTube because they're very strict, but in my view, it wouldn't matter anyways because I have no followers to begin with, but that's besides the point. I'm literally on this channel talking about what I want to talk about because I don't have anyone else to talk about it this way. That being said, she's going through all of these things while having a fractured mind. And what I mean by that is she can't tell what's real and what's not. She thinks she's having nightmares. She has a conversation with well, let me backtrack real quick. One day when they're probably around between 7 and 9 years old, Huey and Lizzie are hanging out in a treehouse, and Lizzie accidentally steps on Huey's balls, and she apologizes, of course, but she's like, I know how to make it better. And this scene is really troubling because Huey doesn't understand, like, they're children. He doesn't understand the exact horribleness is not a word, but it's the one I'm going to use, but that has been done to Lizzie. She pulls his pants down, and he's like, immediately, whoa, 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 you do not touch me there. That is a no-no spot. That my mother told me that if anybody touches you there, they're a monster. And so from that point on, Lizzie considers Mark a monster, and then she comes home, and she's screaming at her sister, Kiva, you brought the monster in. You let him in. You let him come in here and hurt me. And she ends up getting committed to a psych ward after this. Nobody believes her. And she can't articulate the words because the more somebody tells you that you're making shit up, that you're wrong, that you're lying, that you're making up stories, and these things aren't real, that you're expressing, these things are happening in your head because you're so fucked up. That was a nice save, right? After somebody tells you that so often, your brain, well, especially for a child, your brain is like, well, obviously this isn't real. And so from that point on, she's considering these events that are happening to her by Mark to be fiction, to be in her head, to be unreal, to be just fucking fantasy or a fucking nightmare. And so she keeps having these nightmares, whether they're dreams or not, or memories, but they probably are, up until a certain point. And then Kiva, I had to look this up. I had to spoil myself because I couldn't fucking keep going until I knew that something was going to happen for this guy for somebody to know about him, right? Kiva ends up walking in on Gipsy being brutally essayed by Mark. They go home and they're having the fight, and it's from Lizzie's point of view. He was calling him a monster, how he's a pedophile, how could he fucking do this to a child? And Lizzie is like, am I in trouble? She goes and hides in her fucking closet. Meanwhile, Mark is going fucking ballistic. He's doing all the manipulative shit. He's like, I'm so sorry, I would never, that bitch is lying. And then he ended up slipping up. He basically let Kiva know that he was brutally essaying her sister. And after that, her sister ends up finding her, and she's like, tell me, did he touch you? Mind you, he's in the back of there, using her mental illness as a fucking shield and being like, she's fucking crazy, don't believe a word she says, that bitch is lying, blah, blah, blah. And Lizzie is asking, like, am I in trouble? Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you upset, I don't mean to make you cross with me. And she's like, I'm not cross with you. And it's the first fucking time that Kiva is actually has a fucking protective bone in her body. And she actually tries to stand up for Lizzie. And in this situation, unfortunately, Lizzie and Kiva are gonna go through the worst fucking thing possible yet, if it can get any fucking worse. Her mom, their mom, Lizzie and Kiva's mom, unfortunately had another relapse when it came to having cancer, and so she had to go to the States, to US, to Texas, in order to get treatment to get better. God, this is so fucking hard to talk about. I felt so sick today when I was reading this shit. Like, I felt nauseous. I had to fucking stop reading because I was like, I can't fucking do this. I can't, because I've never wanted to reach through a universe, not even a screen, a fucking page, and just brutally like murder this guy. Like, I was coming up with some very graphic depictions of how I would do it too, and I'm like, whoa, this is like, I need to step the fuck up and go to work. This is not okay. So instead of taking them to Texas, because they were all supposed to go, all three of them together, Mark, Kiva, and Lizzie. Mark keeps them in some sort of house and drugs them daily for 3 weeks. I'm not okay, dude. I'm fuming right now. He keeps them in this place for 3 weeks. God fucking knows what happens to them. They are drugged. They have been brutally SA'd. They have been, all these fucking horrible things have happened to them. Also, there's a fucking worst thing that happened, right? As a child, a few weeks, months, however amount of time it took before Kiva eventually found out about the situation. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my cat away from the camera. But Kiva found out about her little sister not only going through all of these things by Mark, but also her being pregnant with his child. After he got Kiva pregnant with his fucking child and took her to London to get rid of the child, Kiva, he ends up using a coat hanger, like the freaking Bible ages, as a form of abortion, and basically assaults her in the most egregious way. That's all I'm gonna talk about it, because it's not okay. Essentially, after this 3 weeks of hell, if we want to call it that, Kiva doesn't make it. She doesn't make it, and it's Mark's fault. And at the funeral, he's telling her, like, this is Gibbsy's fault. Gibbsy knows, and so that's why she died, and it's his fault. Because again, Kiva gave that letter to Gibbsy, and basically he ended up telling Lizzie, with this PTSD, fractured mind and heart, that basically if she told Hugh, then Hugh would be next. I'm not cool. I'm not okay. I'm gonna finish this book. I only got about 6 hours left or so, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on it. But it's the 18th, guys. You guys know me. I usually read about 12 to 17 books a month on average. I'll be lucky if I get through this. and get through a quick duology while I'm at it by the end of this month. Yeah, I understand now. I'm like more calm, but I'm still like just really I'm really fucking drained. This book really takes it out of you. Um, yeah, I thought I was mentally prepared enough for this. Definitely not. Okay, I'm gonna go quickly shower. I just got back from the gym. Go quickly shower, do my laundry, and then just fucking vegetate for the rest of the day because this is not okay. Quick good news: I got an A on my lab for physics, so looking like I'm definitely gonna pass physics lab and lecture. So physics 1 and 2 in the bag, yay. And then I start microbiome lab and lecture and a bunch of other stuff next week. So looking great overall. Yeah, I don't know what to do here, guys. I don't even know how to freaking end this little quick. Uh, I don't know. I'm gonna head out. Bye, guys. Okay, besties. It is Thursday of the next week. I honestly don't have like a specific like what day this is as far as like the day of the month, but I do know that it has taken me 18 days to read and finish the Boys of Tommen series. I am indeed a little bit tipsy, a little bit wine drunk, but that is totally fine. Today has been a day. Honestly, I think my voice is like a little bit soft right now just because a little bit tipsy, but it's being besides the point. My final thoughts on releasing 10 is this book needs to be read with an 18 plus year old 18 or older to ride this ride, needs to have their mental health, mental capacity fully stocked, fully okay. This is not for somebody who has a lot of PTSD regarding sexual themes, graphic sexual depictions of minors, CSAM, SA, etc., etc. Just go in with that in mind. We're following Lizzie. I've mentioned this a few times before, and she's having a really hard time. The ending, her letting the person that means the most to her go so that they can find happiness and be truly happy, and then knowing how they are, like when Shannon goes to Tommen and is like having like all these friends back her up and protect her. It's very bitter. It's very bittersweet. I'm really hoping that in I think it's going to be called Claiming 10 or something like that. There's no like release date in sight or anything like that, but I'm really hoping that with the way that what is his name? See, I'm blanking already because I'm a little bit tipsy. The way that Huey and Katie's relationship is kind of set up, at least at the beginning, I have a hope and a feeling. Maybe I'm just like hoping at this point that Lizzie and of course Huey will end up together, and that Katie will either decide to be single. I'm just kidding. That she will find the person that she is meant to be with because they both. Actually, no. This like a well. It doesn't matter. This is like a spoiler reading blog anyway. At the beginning of their like relationship friendship, like Huey just broke up with Lizzie, and then Katie just broke up with her boyfriend, and so they're both in kind of like a limbo state. If you've ever had that feeling of like you've spent X amount of time without this person, you're kind of feeling numb, but you're hoping that you're kind of ready for the next step to be with somebody and have that emotion be felt again. That's kind of like where they're at. They take things slow. They're starting to be together, and by the time Lizzie comes out of the what is it called? Basically, like she went to get psychiatric help, like some serious professional help. When she comes out of this institution, she finds out that he's with somebody, and she basically tells him that I want you to be happy. I know the scene, guys. I know the scene that ends up breaking up Louis, essentially, Lizzie and Huey. It's not great. It's really bad. And then when she finally comes out of the mania, it's even fucking worse. But um, those are my final thoughts. Of course, the 5 stars. But like, this is one of those books where it's like I would read it once and I would never read it again, just because of how it made me feel. I have never wanted to dive into a universe so bad and just basically like come up with very graphic scenes of murdering somebody that completely deserves it. Because like what the hell was that? Was any of that? There were so many victims in this story. It wasn't just Lizzie. It wasn't just Gibbsy. It was so many people. But final thoughts. It's definitely worth giving a read. As far as releasing time specifically, like out of all of the love, the couples and the love interests, Johnny and Shannon still have my heart. I love Joey and Aoife, and I love Huey and Lizzie's friendship and what happens like before the bad stuff happens. But I need that second book like right now so that I can have some peace of mind with Lizzie and Huey because I'm just not okay. Yeah, if you've made it to the end of this video, if you've made it this far, congratulations, you've made it this far. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss time I upload a brand new video, usually every Saturday, but this whole like reading vlog has taken me a hot minute, so I'm sorry for the lack of uploads last week. And if you want, comment down below what your favorite couples were, what your favorite books were in the Boys of Tommen series, and if you haven't read it, let's talk about it in the comments and see if you should. But that's going to be all for this video, and I'm going to go edit and upload this because Saturday is coming around the corner, and I don't want to like skip 2 weeks of like just no uploads. Plus my August TBR wrap up. I'm sorry, is it? Oh my god, it is August. Oh my gosh. My August TBR wrap up and September TBR is coming up soon, and we need to talk about it because I've only read 6 books this month, which is fine. Again, reiterating the whole hell of it, it's fine if you only read 6 books, but it's like knowing me and knowing how much I read every month, and I'm like, that's crazy. Girl really had like a solid minute to just take a minute for this book and like give it the love and respect and the heartache that it deserves. But that's gonna be all for this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.